In 1993, Nintendo pushed the boundaries of gaming technology and storytelling with the release of Star Fox for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This iconic space shooter not only introduced players to the now legendary Star Fox team, but also introduced groundbreaking 3D graphics to home consoles, thanks to the revolutionary Super FX chip. The development of Star Fox began with a groundbreaking idea and an unexpected partnership. Nintendo had been exploring ways to bring 3D graphics to its consoles, but the SNES hardware alone couldn't handle the demands of real-time 3D rendering. Enter Argonaut Software, a British company led by programmer Jez San, who had been experimenting with 3D graphics for gaming. The collaboration between Argonaut Software and Nintendo ultimately led to the creation of the Super FX chip, a custom graphics coprocessor embedded within the game cartridge that could render polygonal 3D graphics in real time on the SNES. Argonaut Software worked closely with Nintendo's internal development team, led by Shigeru Miyamoto. Miyamoto wanted to build a game inspired by space combat, borrowing ideas from classic sci-fi series like Star Wars and arcade games like Xevious and Space Harrier. However, he also wanted the game to feel unique. By drawing from Japanese folklore and his love of nature, Miyamoto envisioned the main character as an anthropomorphic fox, a character who, along with his team, would embody loyalty and bravery. This idea led to the creation of Fox McCloud and the Star Fox team, each member inspired by different animal species with distinctive personalities and skills. Development challenges were plentiful, with Argonaut and Nintendo testing the limits of the new hardware and facing unexpected hurdles in achieving a smooth, playable frame rate with the Super FX chip. The result, however, was a visually impressive 3D game that captivated audiences and laid the foundation for future advances in gaming graphics. The game follows the adventures of Fox McCloud and his team as they defend the Lylat System from the villainous Andross, a mad scientist banished to the planet Venom for his dangerous experiments. Andross has since built a powerful army, threatening peace across the galaxy. The Star Fox team, led by Fox and supported by his three teammates, Falco Lombardi, Peppy Hare, and Slippy Toad, take on the mission to stop Andross and save the Lylat System. As players progress, they journey through various planets and locations within the Lylat System, each with unique environments and obstacles. The game culminates in an epic final showdown with Andross on the planet Venom. Though the story is relatively simple, it's punctuated by dialogue between characters, giving a sense of camaraderie and personality to the team. This light storytelling approach would go on to define the Star Fox series, with characters like Fox, Falco, Peppy, and Slippy becoming beloved Nintendo icons. At its core, Star Fox is a rail shooter, a genre where the player's movement is partially guided along a set path, or rail, within a three-dimensional environment, allowing them to focus on targeting and shooting enemies. The gameplay was designed to be accessible but also challenging, requiring both skill and quick reflexes to succeed. Players control Fox McCloud's spacecraft, the R-Wing, equipped with lasers and a limited number of smart bombs that can clear the screen of enemies. The R-Wing has a unique set of controls that allow players to move in multiple directions within the screen's range, dodging obstacles and enemy fire while targeting foes with precision. The R-Wing can also perform a barrel roll to deflect enemy attacks, a move that would become iconic in the Star Fox franchise. One of the game's innovative features is its branching path system, offering 3 different routes through the Lylat System, each with varying difficulty levels. Players can choose to take the easy, medium, or hard path, each presenting unique planets, challenges, and enemy formations. This approach gave the game significant replay value, as players could return to explore different paths and encounter new enemies and bosses. Players start with basic laser cannons, but can find power-ups along the way to upgrade their weapons. Collecting these power-ups is essential for tackling tougher enemies and bosses, adding a light layer of strategy to the gameplay. At the end of each level, players face a powerful boss with unique attack patterns. These battles are highlights of the game, requiring players to memorize patterns, dodge complex attacks, and find each boss's weak points to defeat them. Bosses range from massive battleships to giant mechanical creatures, each offering a satisfying challenge. Throughout each mission, teammates Falco, Peppy, and Slippy occasionally call out to Fox, giving hints, warning of incoming threats, or requesting help. This mechanic makes players feel like they're part of a real team, deepening the sense of immersion. However, if players fail to assist their teammates, the characters may not be able to help later in the mission, which adds a layer of consequence to their choices. The Star Fox team's logo, a stylized fox head, was inspired by the fox statues found at the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto, Japan. In Japanese culture, foxes are seen as guardians, and this symbolism resonated with Miyamoto, who was inspired by the idea of Fox McCloud serving as a guardian of the Lylat System. Star Fox was the first Nintendo game to feature real-time 3D polygonal graphics, marking a technological leap forward. The Super FX chip allowed the SNES to render these 3D graphics, making the game look unlike any other game on the console. Its unique style and visuals amazed players, helping Star Fox stand out in an era dominated by 2D side-scrollers. Before the SNES version, Argonaut Software developed a prototype 3D game for the Game Boy called X, which had similar gameplay mechanics to Star Fox. Although X was limited by the Game Boy's hardware, it was influential in the development and set the stage for Argonaut's partnership with Nintendo. The game's branching path system was a direct response to different player skill levels. Miyamoto wanted Star Fox to be accessible to all players while still offering a challenge to experienced gamers. As a result, players could tailor their experience by selecting an easier or harder path through the Lylat system, making it a pioneering title in customizable game difficulty. Though the exact phrase, "do a barrel roll," was popularized in Star Fox 64, the maneuver itself was introduced in the original Star Fox as a defensive tactic. The maneuver has since become a meme and a beloved part of gaming culture, forever tied to the franchise. Star Fox also stood out for its memorable music and sound effects, which added to the game's cinematic feel. The music, composed by Hajime Hirasawa, featured orchestral-style themes that gave weight to the game's battles and missions. This sound design helped create an atmosphere that felt much larger than what the SNES hardware might suggest. Star Fox proved that players were ready for 3D graphics, influencing future Nintendo games and franchises. Without it, and the Super FX chip, the transition to 3D that came with the Nintendo 64 might have looked very different. Its impact on game design and technology helped shape the evolution of 3D gaming. Star Fox was a massive success, not only for its technical accomplishments, but also for introducing players to a new way of experiencing video games. Its influence on future Nintendo titles is undeniable, with the game's characters, mechanics, and barrel roll maneuver becoming symbols of gaming culture. The series' follow-up titles expanded on its ideas, most notably Star Fox 64, which solidified the franchise's place as one of Nintendo's most beloved series. Fox McCloud and his team became staples in the Nintendo universe, appearing in sequels, spin-offs, and even Super Smash Bros. Star Fox wasn't just a technical achievement, it was a memorable and innovative game that captured the imagination of players worldwide, proving that Nintendo was always ready to innovate and push the limits of what games could be.